There is a strange moment that happens before almost every meaningful decision. You stare at the application form but don't submit it. You keep editing the business idea but never launch it. You promise yourself you'll start when you've learned a little more, saved a little more, or become a little more confident. From the outside, it looks like procrastination, but underneath, something far more interesting is happening. Your brain is waiting for a feeling that almost never arrives. We grow up believing readiness is an emotional state. We imagine successful people eventually wake up with certainty, while everyone else wrestles with doubt. Yet if you ask entrepreneurs before opening their companies, surgeons before their first operation, or parents before holding their first child, a surprising pattern appears. Most of them didn't suddenly feel ready. They simply reached a point where waiting made less sense than acting. The feeling they were expecting never came because readiness was never designed to arrive first. It was designed to follow. The mistake begins with how the brain predicts the future. Before any unfamiliar action, your mind performs a simulation using memories, experience, and known outcomes. If it can't generate a detailed prediction, it labels the situation as uncertain. And uncertainty feels remarkably similar to danger. This isn't because your brain believes starting a business is as threatening as facing a predator. It's because the nervous system evolved to conserve energy whenever the outcome couldn't be confidently estimated. An uncertain path meant unnecessary risk. Thousands of years later, the same machinery quietly whispers that sending an email, changing careers, or speaking in public should probably wait until tomorrow. Not because tomorrow is better, but because tomorrow is imagined to feel safer. The irony is that certainty cannot exist before experience because experience is what creates certainty in the first place. Imagine trying to learn how deep a swimming pool is without stepping into the water. No amount of measuring from the edge can replace the sensation of entering it. Readiness works exactly the same way. Every action provides new information, and every piece of information reduces uncertainty. Waiting for confidence before acting is like waiting to become stronger before lifting the weights that would make you stronger. The order has been reversed. This explains why preparation sometimes becomes a sophisticated form of avoidance. Researching another productivity system, buying another course, organizing another notebook, or watching another motivational video all produce the pleasant illusion of progress without exposing you to uncertainty. Preparation feels productive because it reduces the anxiety of not knowing, but only temporarily. Eventually, the same uncomfortable question returns. Am I finally ready? And because no real experience has been added, the answer remains no. What's fascinating is that your brain often confuses familiarity with capability. Consider the first time you drove a car. Every mirror, pedal, and intersection demanded conscious attention. Months later, the same drive barely registers in your awareness. Your ability certainly improved, but so did your prediction system. The environment became familiar enough that uncertainty disappeared. Confidence wasn't magically discovered. It was accumulated through repeated contact with the unknown until the unknown became ordinary. This is why people frequently overestimate how prepared they need to be and underestimate how quickly adaptation happens once they begin. Humans are astonishingly efficient at adjusting after commitment because action unlocks feedback that imagination simply cannot generate. The first conversation teaches you what books couldn't. The first project reveals problems no plan predicted. The first attempt exposes strengths you didn't know existed. Progress comes not from perfect preparation, but from progressively replacing imagined uncertainty with lived experience. The people who seem fearless aren't necessarily experiencing less doubt. They've simply learned to interpret doubt differently. Instead of treating uncertainty as evidence they should stop, they treat it as evidence they're approaching something that matters. That single shift changes everything because uncertainty transforms from a warning sign into a compass. The next time you don't feel ready, resist asking whether confidence has arrived. Ask a different question instead. Have I reached the point where acting will teach me more than waiting? If the answer is yes, then you're already standing at the threshold where readiness is created, not found, not granted, and not discovered. Created, because the feeling you've been waiting for has always been the reward for beginning, never the permission to start.